ओम साई राम ओम साई राम ओम साई राम। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु साई करुणानंद महाराज की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु जगत गुरु बाल युगराज साई नारायण महाराज की जय। साई लीलावती माता की जय। श्री साई सचरित्र चैप्टर 50 स्टोरीज ऑफ काका साहिब दीक्षित, second Shri Tambya Swami, third Balram Dhurandhar. Chapter 50 of original Science Satcharitra has been incorporated in Chapter 39 as it deals with the same subject matter now. Now, Chapter 51 of the Science Satcharitra has been treated as Chapter 50. This chapter gives the stories of Kaka Sahib Dikshit, Shri Tambya Swami, Balaram Dhurandhar. Preliminary. Victory be unto Sai, who is mainstay of the Bhaktas, who is our Sadguru, who expounds the meaning of the Gita, and who gives us all powers. O Sai, look favorably on us and bless us all. The sandalwood trees grows on the Malaya mountains and ward of heat. The clouds pour their rainwater and thereby cool and refresh all the people. The flowers blossom in the spring and enable us to worship God. Therewith, so the stories of the Sai Baba come forth in order to give solace and comfort to the readers. Both those who tell and those who hear the stories of the Baba are blessed in the holy, as also the mouths of the former and the ears of the latter. It is well established fact that though we try hundreds of means or sadhanas, we do not attain the spiritual goal of life unless the Sadguru blesses us with his grace. Here the following story in the illustration of this statement. Kakasab Diction, 1864-1926. Mr. Hari Sitaram alias Kakasab Dikshit was born in 1864 AD in the Vadna Nagara Nagar, a Brahmin family at Khandwa. CPA's primary education was done at Khandwa, Hingan Ghat, and secondary education at Nagpur. He came to the Bombay for higher education and studied first in the Wilson College and then in the Elphinstone College. After graduation in 1883 AD, he passed his LLB and the solicitor's examination. He served in the form of government solicitors, Mrs. Little and Company, and then after some time he started a solicitor's firm of his own. Before 1909 AD, Sai Baba's name was not familiar to Kaka Sahib, but after that he soon becomes his great devotee. While he was staying at Lonavala, he happened to see his old friend Mr. Nanasab Chandorkar. Both spent some time in talking about many things. Kaka Sahib described to him how when he was boarding a train in London, he met with an accident in which his foot slipped and was injured. Hundreds of remedies gave him no relief. Nana Sahib then told him that if he wished to get rid of the pain and lameness of his leg, he should go to his Sadguru Sai Baba. He also gave him all the particulars of Sai Baba and mentioned to him Sai Baba's dictum, I brought to me my man from far off and even across the seven seas, like a sparrow with a string fastened to his feet. He also made it clear to him that if he be not Baba's man, he would not have been attracted to him and given a darshan. Kaka Sahib was pleased to hear all this and said to Nana Sahib that he would go to Baba, see him and pray to him to cure not so much his lame leg, but bring round his lame, fickle mind and give him eternal bliss. After some time, Kaka Sahib went to Ahmednagar and stayed with Sirdhar Kaka Sahib Medikar in connection with securing votes for the seat in the Bombay Legislative Council. Mr. Bala Sahib Medikar, son of Kaka Sahib Medikar, who was the Mamladar for Kopargaon, also came at that time to Ahmednagar in connection with the horse exhibition there. After the election business was over, Kaka Sahib Dikshit wanted to go to Shri, and both the Medikar father and son were also thinking in their house about a fit and proper person as a guide with whom he should be sent there. There, Sai Baba was arranging things for his reception. Shama got a telegram from his father-in-law at Ahmednagar stating that his wife was seriously ill and that he should come to see her with his wife. Shama, with Baba's permission, went there and saw his mother-in-law and found her improving and better. Nana Sahib Penche and Appa Sahib Gandre happened to see Shama on their way to the exhibition Dikshit there and take him to Shirdi along with him. Kaka Sahib Dikshit and the Medikar were also informed of Shama's arrival. In the evening, Shama came to Medikars who introduced him to Kaka Sahib. They arranged that Shama should leave for Kopargaon with Kaka Sahib by 10 o'clock night train. After this was settled, a curious things happened. Balasaheb Medikar threw aside the wheel or covering on Baba's big portrait and showed the same to the Kaka Sahib. He was surprised to see that whom he was going to meet at Shri was already there in the form of the portrait to greet him at this juncture. He was much moved and made his prostration before the portrait. This portrait belonged to the Megha. The glass over it was broken and it was sent to the Medikar for repairs. The necessary repairs has been already made and it was decided to make the portrait with Kaka Sahib and Shama. To return the portrait with Kaka Sahib and Shama. Before 10 o'clock, they went to the station and booked their passage. But when the train arrived, they found that the second class was overcrowded and there was no room for them. Fortunately, the guard of the train turned out to be an acquaintance of Kaka Sahib and he put them up in the first class. Thus, they travelled comfortably and alighted at Kopargaon. Their joy knew no bounds when they saw their Nana Sahib Chandorkar was also bound for Shirdi. Kaka Sahib and Nana Sahib embraced each other and then after bathing in the sacred Godavari river, they started for Shirdi. After coming there and getting Baba's darshan, Kaka Sahib's mind was melted. His eyes was full of tears and he was overflowing with joy. Baba said to him that he also was waiting for him and had sent Shama ahead to receive him. Kaka Sahib then passed many happy years in Baba's company. He built a vada in the Shirdi, which he made and is more or less permanent home. The experiences he got from Baba are also manifold that it is not possible to relate them all here. The readers are advised to read a special Kaka Sahib Dikshit number of Shri Sai Leela magazine, volume number 12. 6-9. We close this chapter with the mention of the one fact only. Baba had comforted his by saying that in the end he will take him in air coach Viman and secure him a happy death. This came out true on the 5th of July 1926 AD. He was traveling in the train with Himarpal and talking about Sai Baba. He seemed deeply engrossed in Sai Baba. All of the sudden, he threw his neck on the Himarpan's shoulder and breathed his last with no trace of pain and uneasiness. Shri Tembia Swami. We come to the next story which shows how saints love each other with a fraternal affection. One Shri Vasudevananda Saraswati, known as Shri Tembia Swami, encamped at Raja Mahendri, Andhra country on the banks of Godavari. He was a devout orthodox Jnani and a yogi bhakta of the god Dattatreya. One Mr. Pundalik Rao, Peter of Nanded, Nizam state, went to see him with some other friends. While they were talking with him in the name of Shirdi and Sai Baba were casually mentioned, hearing Baba's name, the Swami bowed with his hands and taking a coconut gave it to the Pundalik Rao and said to him, offer this on to my brother Sai and with my pranam and request him not to forget me but ever love me. He also added that the Swamis do not generally bow to others, but in this case an exception had to be made. Mr. Pundalik Rao consented to take the fruit and his message to Baba. The Swami was right in calling Baba a brother for his as he maintained Agnihotri sacred fire day and night in his orthodox fashion. Baba too kept his Agnihotra, that is Dhoni, ever burning in the masjid. After 1 month, Pundalik Rao and others left for Shri with the coconut and reached Manmad, and as they felt thirsty, they went to the rivulet for drinking water. As water should not be drunk on the empty stomach, they took out some refreshment, chivra, flattened rice with spice. The chivra tasted pungent and is ordered to soften it. Someone suggested broke the coconut and mixed it with the scrapings with it, and thus they made the chivra more tasty and palatable. And unfortunately, the fruit broken turned out to be the same that was unthirsty to Pundalik Rao. As they neared Shirdi, Pundalik Rao remembered the thirst. That is, coconut was the sorry to learn that remember that it was broken and utilized. Fearing and trembling, he came to Shri and saw Baba. Baba had already received a wireless message regarding the coconut from the Tembia Swami, and himself asked Pundalik Rao first to give the things sent by his brother. He held fast Baba's feet and confessed his guilt and negligence, and repented and asked for Baba's pardon. He offered to give another fruit as a substitute, but Baba refused to accept it, saying that the worth of that coconut was by far many times more than an ordinary one, and that it could not be replaced by another one. Baba also added, now you need to not worry yourself any more about the matter. It was on account of my wish that the coconut was entrusted to you and ultimately broken on the way. Why should you take the responsibility of the actions on you? Do not entertain the sense of doership in doing good as well as for bad deeds. Be entirely prideless and egoless in all things, and thus your spiritual progress will be rapid. What a beautiful spiritual instruction Baba gave. Balaram Dhurandhar. Mr. Balaram Dhurandhar belonged to the Pandhare Prabhu community of Santa Cruz, Bombay. He was an advocate of the Bombay High Court and a sometime principal of the Common Law School, Bombay. The whole Dhurandhar family was pious and religious, with Mr. Balaram served his community and wrote and published an account of it, and he then turned his attention to the spiritual and religious matters. He studied carefully Gita and its commentary, Ganeshwari, and other philosophical and other metaphysical works. He was a devotee of the Vithoba, Pandharpur. He came in contact with Sai Baba in 1912 AD. 6 months previous, his brothers Babulji and Vaman Rao came to Shirdi and took Baba's darshan. They returned home and mentioned their sweet experiences to Balaram and other members. Then they all decided to see Sai Baba before they came to Shirdi. Baba declared openly that today many of my darbar people are coming. The Dhurandhar peoples were astonished to hear this remark of Baba from others, as they had not given any previous intimation of their trip. All the other peoples prostrated themselves before Baba and sat talking to him. Baba said to them, these are my Darbar people to whom I referred before. Said to the Dhurandhar brothers, we are acquainted with each other for the last 60 generations. All the brothers were meek and modest. They stood with the joined hands staring at Baba's feet. All the sattvic emotions such as tears, horripilation, choking, etc. moved them, and they were all happy. Then they went to their lodging and took their meals, and after taking a little rest again came to the masjid. Balaram sat near Baba massaging his legs. Baba, who was smoking a chillum, advanced towards him and beckoned him to smoke it. Balaram was not accustomed to smoking. Still, he accepted the pipe and smoked it with a great difficulty and returned it reverentially with the bow. This was the most auspicious moment for Balaram. He was suffering from asthma for 6 years. The smoke completely cured him of the disease, which never could never troubled him again. Some 60 years later, on a particular day, he again got an attack of asthma. This was precisely the time when Baba took his Mahasamadhi. The day of the visit was a Thursday, and the Dhurandhar brothers had the good fortune of witnessing the Chavdi Balram saw the luster of the Pandurang on Baba's face, and next morning at the Kakar Aarti time, the same phenomenon, the same luster of the beloved deity Pandurang was visible again on Baba's face. Mr. Balaram Dhurandhar wrote in Marathi the life of the Maharashtra Sant Tukaram, but did not survive to see its publication. It was published later on by his brothers in 1928. And a short note on Balaram's life given in the beginning of the book. The above account of Balaram's visit has been fully corroborated therein. Right, page 6 of the book. Both to Shri Sai, peace be to all. Shri Satchidananda Sadguru Sai Nath Maharaj ki jai. Shri Satchidananda Sadguru Sai Karnananda Maharaj ki jai. Shri Satchidananda Sadguru Jagat Guru Bal Yugraj Sai Nana Maharaj ki jai. साई लीलावती माता की जय। ओम साई राम।